Alright guys, happy Monday again. Today's whole group lesson will be comparing fractions with the same denominator. So before we get started on what's on the screen that you're watching right now, I went ahead to compare it. I wrote a little problem right here. Alright, so what we're doing is comparing fractions that have the same denominator, which is the bottom number. I want you guys to get used to saying denominator because that represents how many parts are in the whole. So the only difference in numbers today will be the numerator. The numerators will not be the same, and we have to compare. Well, knowing that the top number is not the same, which one is greater than, what's less than, or even if they are equal. The thing with today is, with the same denominator, we know that they are equal in size. Each part is the same size. So whether it's 3/4 or 2/4, every slice of that cake, that pizza is the same size between both fractions, as you can see here in the picture. So knowing that, then this one is a little bit easier than when we change the denominator, which will be in a few days. All you have to do is compare which is the larger numerator. So for example, that top 3/4 would look like this shaded in, and 2/4 would look like this shaded in. And I'm going to turn it right here. And you're going to compare and say, well, which one has more surface area covered? And you can say that it is 3/4. It has way more, it's a bigger fraction. So when they are the same denominator, you just have to look at the top number, or what we call the numerator, and whichever is larger is the larger fraction. So to correctly read this, it would be 3/4 is greater than 2/4. Now, if the 2/4 was in front, instead of the 3/4, and it read like this, then we would have to change the symbol right there. We would have to change the symbol, and it is no longer greater than, because we know 2/4 is smaller than 3/4. So instead of the greater than symbol, we are going to use the less than symbol. 2/4 is less than 3/4. You want to make sure you understand your symbols because we will be using them for the next few days. Great. You read your problems and number sentences from left to right. So if the first number you read is smaller, you want to use the less than excuse me. If the first number is less than or smaller, then you use the less than symbol. You read from left to right. All right, so let's continue with the lesson. So over the summer, Jasmine went to the Shawn Mendes concert at the Amway Center. 5/6 of the arena was filled with people. Last night, she went to the same arena for the Demi Lovato concert, and 2/6 of the arena was filled. Which concert had more people to attend? How do you know? Well, what I do know is Jasmine's a little spoiled because those concerts are expensive, and she went to both. We know that this is the same denominator because they showed us the fraction, and we saw that they were both same denominators. And they also said she went to the same arena, same size. So we're comparing the same size wholes. They're both cut into 6 parts. So we just have to say, well, which one is greater? Well, Shawn Mendes, 5/6 of the concert arena was full. So he was almost sold out. He was almost completely full. Demi Lovato had 2/6, and you can see the visuals right next to their pictures. And just looking at that, you can say, okay, well, who had the bigger concert? Who had more attendance? And if you're looking at the visuals, then your answer should be Shawn Mendes, because he's almost sold out. He almost shaded the entire arena, or the shape. Okay? Let's see these patterns here. I'm going to move myself a little bit higher. Hello. And we're going to compare these fractions. Again, today, the focus is how many parts, because we know all the parts between the two fractions are the same size. How do we know that? Because they have the same denominator. So if they have the same denominator or bottom number, their shapes or their parts are the same size. So you're not comparing sizes today, you're comparing how much. And how much is the top number? How much is the numerator? So this 4, 6, 4 pieces of the 6 were shaded. Compare it to 1, 6, where only one piece out of the 6 were shaded. So to correctly read this number sentence, this would be 4, 6 is greater than 1, 6. Same with over here with our purple circles. They've both been cut the same amount, 4 times, so these are fourths. And we're comparing. These 3 were shaded, 3/4, and this is 4/4, or the whole pizza, or the whole pie. So is 3/4 greater than, less than, or equal to 4/4? And this symbol is the less than symbol. And finally, we have 2 rectangles here. And we have 6/8 and 3/8. And when we compare it, 6/8 has more shaded. What I want you to notice, the patterns you see here, is that when we compare fractions, when we compare this one, you have to compare it with the same shape. You cannot make a rectangle and then this one make a circle, because there's no way you can compare it with your naked eye and say, oh, they're equal. Now, using your strategy, you would know, well, the greater numerator is always going to be the greater one as long as the denominator is the same. However, visually, when you want to practice and say, I'm not sure, let me draw it out, you want to make sure you have the same shape for both fractions. All right, let's keep going. So Pedro here is comparing 2 fractions of that refer to the same whole. He writes 1/4 is greater than 2/4. Do you agree with Pedro's comparison statement? Yes or no? Well, while you're talking to the screen right now, I actually drew a number line here. And here are Pedro's 2 numbers. I cut my number line into 4 parts. I did this because we've been working on shapes, so I don't want to get rusty drawing my number line. So today I drew a number line. Well, 1/4 would be starting at the 0 and stopping right there. My top number line. And 2/4 would be starting at the 0 and stopping right here. And you can compare them right now, and I put the dot at the wrong spot. Okay. And comparing the same size number line, which fraction went further down the number line? And you can see it's 2/4. So 2/4 is actually greater than 1/4. So how can we correct his statement? We can't switch the numbers around. You can't just say, well, 2/4 is greater than 1/4. That's not the first number that is in the number sentence. So what we can change is the symbol. 1/4 is still going to be written first, but instead of a greater than sign, we're going to switch that out for a less than sign. And that's the correct way he should have written that number sentence. All right, that's what we're going to be doing today for practice as well as in your exit slip. I hope you have a good Monday, and I will see you guys tomorrow.